Welcome to the National Institutes of Health, the world's largest biomedical research agency. NIH is more than 125 years old. Today, you are joining the tens of thousands of people who have visited the NIH campus since it was dedicated by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1940.
The National Institute of Health speaks the universal language of humanitarianism. It has been devoted throughout its long and distinguished history to furthering the health of all mankind, and has recognized no distinctions of race or creed or color. We cannot be a strong nation unless we are a healthy nation. And so we must recruit not only men and materials, but also knowledge and science in the service of national strength. And that is what we are doing here.
NIH is part of the Department of Health and Human Services. Scientists from 27 institutes and centers at NIH investigate a wide variety of diseases. Their mission is to ensure the health and well-being of humans throughout their lifespan. Thanks to NIH-funded research, the average American lifespan is 3 decades longer than it was a century ago. The most common form of childhood leukemia now has a 90% survival rate. HIV is a treatable condition, and we have a clean, safe blood supply. How does a child's diet affect her bones for life? Why do some people develop a disease but others don't? These and hundreds of other questions drive the work of NIH researchers. Nearly 6,000 of those scientists work in NIH's intramural research program. NIH headquarters is also home to the Clinical Center, the world's largest hospital dedicated entirely to medical research.
The intramural program is the combination of all of the research that goes on in our laboratories and clinics at the federal government level, mostly at the NIH in Bethesda, but also at other sites throughout the country. One of the major benefits of the intramural research program is the possibility for long-term support and the ability to support complicated clinical and laboratory activities.
The extramural research program at NIH funds scientists at some 2,500 institutions in all 50 states. NIH also supports a number of international research studies. Scientists receive funding from NIH through competitive research grants. Some 80% of NIH funding goes to research institutions around the country, while 10% funds researchers here on the NIH campus. Right now, researchers at NIH are creating life-saving drugs and vaccines, unlocking the mysteries of the brain, diminishing the effects of stroke, restoring movement for those who have been injured, and much more, including battling infectious diseases.
The NIH is responsible for conducting and supporting a wide array of research on infectious diseases, including HIV/AIDS, where the fundamental basic research that led to the discovery of drugs which have taken this disease from a virtual death sentence 30 years ago until now, if people are put on proper therapy, they can ultimately lead essentially a normal life. This is one of the most important medical breakthroughs literally in the history of infectious diseases.
NIH research is also focused on preventing chronic diseases.
Recent research supported by NIH showed that changes in school food services and gym classes and adding classroom lessons in healthy behavior lowered the obesity rates in middle school students at highest risk for type 2 diabetes.
Clinical trials are at the heart of all medical advances and NIH's mission. Clinical trials look at new ways to prevent, detect, or treat disease. Both patient and healthy volunteers participate in clinical trials for a variety of reasons.
There are many advantages to participating in a clinical trial here at NIH. If you're a patient, and especially a patient with a rare disease, there's probably the simple advantage of being seen by doctors who have a large experience with your disease, with your syndrome, with your condition. In contrast to even a great doctor in the community or at an academic center who may only see one case in a year or one case in a lifetime of the disease that affects you. So that's worth a lot.
I participate in clinical trials because I believe it's the right thing to do. Before me, there were hundreds and thousands of other people with Parkinson's who participated in clinical trials that gave me the ability to have the medications I take today. If people today do not participate in clinical trials, there will be no cure. There will be no new medications.
So, how do people get involved with clinical trials? All the information you need to get started can be found on our Clinical Research Trials in You website, clinicalresearchtrials.nih.gov. NIH continues to break ground in research on the nearly 7,000 diseases that affect fewer than 200,000 people, called rare diseases. NIH's Office of Rare Disease Research seeks answers for people with unusual or undiagnosed conditions who often have nowhere else to turn.
The NIH Undiagnosed Diseases Program is an initiative to help us to diagnose patients who have long sought a diagnosis but haven't been able to get one. It also helps us to find new things about biochemistry and cell biology and even new diseases and new pathways for the medical profession.
Locating, organizing, sharing, and analyzing scientific information, transforming it into progress, presents a challenge. In 2013, NIH launched a Big Data to Knowledge initiative called BD2K to support the development of tools, methods, and expertise to help researchers take advantage of the treasure trove of information now available to them. BD2K is the cornerstone of a new field of science that will help meet the challenges of the 21st century. The program is expected to accelerate the pace of discovery and lead to new approaches for the treatment and prevention of disease. In April 2013, the White House launched the BRAIN Initiative to shine a bright light into brain research. BRAIN stands for Brain Research Through Advancing Innovative Neurotechnologies. With support from NIH and other sources, the BRAIN Initiative will produce a first-ever, one-of-a-kind, dynamic map of the interactions among the brain's cells and circuitry through time. A deeper understanding of the brain will help researchers treat, cure, and even prevent brain diseases.
I tested an early version of BrainPort, and I was blown away. The first thing that they did was to roll a ball, and it was only after a few rolls that my brain figured out, okay, the ball is like here on my tongue, so therefore it's out here in the world. And I was reaching out and grabbing this ball. All it is a two-dimensional picture that I'm feeling on my tongue. And my brain is doing the work of translating it back into 3 dimensions and translating it back into the space in front of me.
Thanks to NIH research on addiction, we already know how drug abuse affects and changes the brain.
Addictions, drug abuse, are actually the ones that are the most stigmatized. So where you are at is a disease of the brain that produces a loss of your ability to exert control, what we call free will, because free will is not something that's spontaneous, it's the product of the biology of the brain. And there are certain networks and circuits that enable you to do it. Drugs disrupt those specific circuits, and as a result of that, even though you are aware that you shouldn't be taking drugs, you cannot stop it.
To ensure that we have a future generation of scientists to conduct life-saving research, NIH is committed to attracting a diverse range of future investigators who bring a variety of perspectives to science. NIH helps advance their training and provides them with a place to learn and grow. More than 140 NIH-supported scientists have been honored with Nobel Prizes. Carol Greider won the 2009 prize in physiology or medicine.
I got the call this morning from Stockholm that I won the Nobel Prize, and I won it for the discovery of telomerase, which was a discovery that was made about 25 years ago now.
NIH remains the largest source of public funding for medical research in the world. Besides advancing human health, the public investment in NIH fuels the U.S. economy by creating a foundation for the biomedical industry, which employs 1 million U.S. citizens. It is estimated that for every dollar invested in research by NIH, $2.21 is generated in the local economy. NIH continues a long history of uncovering new scientific and treatment approaches that lead to improved healthcare and longer lives, representing clear, measurable returns on the public investment Americans make in research. Today, we've seen that NIH is firmly invested in improving health for people of all ages and battling all types of diseases. The 21st century offers near limitless opportunities for advancements in health and science. As we move into the future, NIH is also committed to innovation, to finding ways to transform inspiring possibilities into reality. Thanks to NIH, you, your family, and friends, people across the United States and those around the world can hope to live healthier, longer, safer, and more productive lives. Please come back to visit us often or online at Explore NIH.